Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to go over 11 amazing things to do in Madeira, Portugal. Madeira is an incredible island with epic hiking, volcanic swimming pools, massive waterfalls, stunning beaches, and enough great food and accommodation to make you want to stay forever. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of the video because you are not going to want to miss number one.
For those of you who don't know us, my name's David.
I'm Kaylee.
And we run a travel vlog called Made to Explore.
We are passionate about activities that get you outside and off the beaten path. And we spent 3 weeks exploring Portugal this past fall. This is one of our very favorite places in Europe and we can't wait to share why.
Let's get into the list.
Yes, starting off with number 11.
Funchal, the city of fun.
It's the capital city of Madeira. It's probably where you'll fly into. And it's got a bustling day and nightlife.
Yeah.
They've got a ton of amazing restaurants, a really cool old town to walk through. And they've also got, they had a project called the Painted Doors Project. So there's about 200 doors in a small area of the old town that are all painted with pretty impressive artwork. It's pretty fun to walk around.
Yeah, I'm not even a city guy. Like usually when we travel, I'm more towards the outdoor part of the trip, but Funchal was really fun.
Yeah.
And delicious food, like so much food, so many good restaurants.
Yeah.
And yeah. Number 10 on the list is Cascata dos Anjos, which is a waterfall that actually flows onto a road, which
Pretty
I've never
neat.
seen before. Yeah, never heard of, but there are a lot of really cool photos of this spot. It is right along the coastline. It's located along the southwest side of the island, and we stopped there at a bit of a bad point because there was a ton of people lined up ready to take photos and stuff, so it would probably be good to go sunrise, sunset. That's when the best lighting is going to be too.
The road is still in operation, so you do have to drive under the waterfall to get past it, which is also kind of cool.
Hilarious to see locals just going back and forth. Of course, pissed off at all the tourists
Yeah.
that are clogging up the road, but kind of fun to see. If you guys are planning to travel to Portugal, we have developed a travel guide that is very useful in the trip planning process and has everything that we love about Portugal, including like all of our favorite stops on the Azores, Madeira, mainland Portugal.
Yeah, it's jam-packed with pretty much everything that we loved about Portugal. You don't have to do any research at all. And it's 58 pages long. So we will link that below if you want. It's an instant download too, which is really nice.
We've had a lot of positive feedback and reviews for it. People get back from their trip and they've found it very useful. So
Yeah, we're really excited to share it with you.
we'll link it below and up in the corner here if you want to check that out.
Number 9 is the hike to Lagoa do Vento waterfall. So there's actually 2 waterfalls that make up a double-tiered waterfall. Lagoa do Vento and Cascata di Risco. You can actually hike to the middle of them, which is really cool. That was probably our favorite hike. It is 7 kilometers, about 300 meters of elevation gain, and well worth the hike. Very quiet, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that. Oh.
Even though they're in the same area, same spot, same parking lot, you can do both of them like we did. But we just found the 25 Fontes waterfall a little...
Yeah, don't do it. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it
less
really wasn't
exciting.
worth the time. It was very touristy.
Yeah.
We also visited in the fall, so like there wasn't a lot of water coming down. It was kind of just like a wet semicircle of rock with hundreds of people. It was not good. So do this one instead.
Next on our list is staying at a Savoy property while you're in Madeira. They own a ton of different hotels on the island. We got to stay at a few of them while we were traveling there, and we loved each and every one. They each have a different theme, and they all have some pretty crazy pools and delicious breakfast, like awesome buffet breakfast.
like best buffet breakfast we've ever had.
Yeah, and the rooms and the accommodation and the staff were so nice, and we would just suggest it. If you haven't booked your stay on Madeira yet, we would definitely suggest staying at a Savoy property.
Yes, they have, like David was saying, each one has a theme, and they have all different kind of price points throughout their hotels too. So you can decide if you want to stay at a 5-star, or if you want to stay, like one that we stayed at next was a little bit more digital nomad vibes. They still had like pools and great restaurants, and just very cool place to stay.
Yeah.
Number 7 on our list is the Porto Moniz sea pool. So Madeira actually is a volcanic island, and they have several volcanic swimming pools around the island, which is really, really cool. Porto Moniz is the most developed one, and it does tend to get busy, but it's also the largest and most impressive one, so it's definitely worth a visit. I think it only costs a couple euros to get in. If you want to avoid the crowds, definitely go first thing in the morning or a little bit later in the day. Obviously, in the heat of the day, it gets pretty busy.
Yeah, there are lots of bus tours that actually drive from Funchal all the way across the island to Porto Moniz, but the drive itself is beautiful.
Yeah.
You drive kind of through the middle of the island, which is very mountainous and scenic. So if you have a rental car, we would definitely suggest doing this drive.
And all the roads are really well maintained too. All of the main roads are really well maintained on Madeira. Like they tunnel through the mountains. They all look like brand new concrete, so it's really not an issue getting around. Where it will be an issue getting around is on the smaller side streets, because you're literally sometimes driving at like a 45-degree angle on a super narrow 2-lane road with a standard vehicle.
It's exciting, especially for us Canadians.
Yeah, we're not really used to that.
Number 6 on our list is Pico Grande. So we went into this hike not expecting a whole lot, but we did it, didn't see anyone on the trail, and it was actually so close to our favorite hike while we were in Madeira. The hike itself is 7.2 kilometers and 700 meters of elevation gain. It's a little bit challenging, but it's also a lot of fun, and the scenery is just beautiful. Like, you get views of the whole island pretty much.
Yeah, we stayed at the top for almost 2 hours taking photos because it was so pretty.
Such an unbelievable hike and not that hard. So beautiful. You can see Ruivo and Arieiro in the background here. Just gorgeous, but it's like clear all around us.
Yeah, you can see ocean on pretty much all sides. Different places that you can start this hike from, but we would recommend starting at Miradora Boca da Corrida. I think I said that right?
Nailed it.
It's the easiest way, it's the quickest way, and the first half is relatively flat. You pretty much gain all of your elevation in the second half on the way up to the peak.
Yeah. Just before the peak, there's a bit of a rope chain scenario going up the side of like this massive boulder, and it looks kind of intimidating, but it's not very hard at all.
Yeah, and it takes like 2 minutes to get up. Like it's not a long haul that we barely held on to the ropes, so if you get intimidated at that point, just push through, it's worth it. Number 5 on the list is to go dolphin or whale watching. So this is a huge thing depending on the season in Madeira. There are tons of different tours that are offered. They usually range from about 25 euros per person to 60 euros per person. VIP dolphin tours is on the higher end of that spectrum, but they also offer an open bar, food, all of your equipment, and smaller group sizes. So in our opinion, if you're looking for kind of a relaxing way to spend the day, that is the perfect way to go.
Number 4 on the list is another hike called Brada de Ponta de São Lourenco, aka the Tail of Madeira. This was, I think, the first hike we did when we landed on Madeira, and we did this hike, and we're like, as soon as we did it, I was like, oh, we're in for a treat. Like, this is going to be my kind of island. So happy we came to Madeira, and this was a perfect way to start it. This hike was so hot, though. Like, It
sunscreen. There's no shade.
Yeah, there's no shade. There's like a little solar restaurant bar near the end of the hike that you can actually go to. We didn't because we assumed that it was going to be super expensive, and we had other things planned for the day as well, so we kind of just kept moving. The trail goes along the easternmost tip of Madeira, and it is 7.4 kilometers and 412 meters of elevation gain. It honestly isn't too hard, but it was hot. Like, that was our biggest problem.
Yeah.
We did it during the dry season, so everything was pretty yellow, but if you do it during the rainy season, I've seen photos of it, and everything is green, which looks very pretty. It's also a great spot for sunrise, so if you want to avoid the heat, I would wake up early and do this in the morning and then get out there and watch the sunrise. It would just be beautiful. So
you'd probably be one of the only people out there too.
Pencil that into the itinerary.
Penciled.
Number 3 is the sexiest beach in Madeira.
Number 3 on the list is Siexal Beach. So this is actually known as one of the most beautiful beaches in Portugal. It is a black sand beach, and it is located really close to the Porto Moniz sea pools in the town of Siexal. So to get here, you are going to have to drive across the island. Totally worth it. This would be a good place to go before or after the sea pools, kind of make that into one day excursion. And you're gonna want to go early to find a place to park, because parking gets very questionable.
Yeah. As soon as you walk down onto the beach, though, you can totally understand why it's so beautiful. There are waterfalls all the way along the coastline, and when me and Kaylee did it, as soon as we got there, we were like, wow, this looks exactly like Hawaii.
Yes.
Like, the Kauai coast, it looks so similar. It's just astonishing. Beautiful spot.
So beautiful. Yeah, and like David said, you can go walk along a little bit closer to the shore depending on the tide, and you can actually go underneath or see waterfalls that are dropping right into the ocean, which is really cool.
You can rent paddleboards on the beach as well.
Yeah, this is a great place to go after a hike or when you just kind of want to like chill out.
Number 2 on the list is catching a sunrise at Pico Arieiro. So this is the highest lookout on Madeira, and the road up there is beautiful. This is one of the most popular things to do while you're on Madeira, though, so probably do it during a weekday if you can, but it is totally worth it. A lot of times there are actually inversions happening, so you're looking out over top of the clouds and onto the sunset. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong. So if you catch an inversion, lucky you, that's gorgeous. And if you don't, you can see the entire island and ocean all around the island.
Yeah.
So also lucky you, it's beautiful.
Sunrise is between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, so you don't actually have to get up that early to catch it. It's, I think, about an hour drive from Funchal.
Yeah, you can roll out of bed at like 6:30 and still make it up in time. But keep in mind, we got there and parking was full. So we kind of just like parked on the road going down. Okay, the number 1 thing to do in Madeira is to hike from Pico do Arieiro to Pico Ruivo. So Pico de...
She is so excited about number 1 that she can't even say it. Speechless.
Speechless. Okay, I can do this. Pico de Arieiro is the number 1 sunrise spot. So this is the highest peak on Madeira. And from there, you can hike over to Pico Ruivo, which is, I believe, the 3rd highest peak on the island. And the entire trail is staircases built in rock. You're climbing on ledges along the side of a mountain. Like, it is absolutely gorgeous the entire way. It's probably the most unique hike we've ever done.
Yeah.
very challenging. So it is 10.8 kilometers, almost 1,200 meters of elevation gain, but you go down first. So you lose about half the elevation. It's flat, and then you hike up to Pico Ruivo, and then you gain the other half on your way back up. It's nice that it's split up. It doesn't feel as bad that way. We just started the stairs back up and we're dying. Well, I'm dying already. But look at this mountain. Looks like a nose. And then the green is the mustache. And then the lips underneath.
What's the green?
The mustache. You weren't pointing at the mountain, are you? Don't let the elevation gain intimidate you for this. It is 1000% worth every step. You definitely want to do this hike if you are able to in Madeira.
This hike can get so busy and the pathway is so narrow in spots. So you want to do it during, like, we got to Pico Arieiro for sunrise, watched the sunrise for about 5 minutes, took some footage, and then just started our hike because people show up so quickly, busloads show up. You'll be passing tour groups along a pathway that is, no joke, yay big. We didn't pass many on the way there. Our hike there was pretty free rolling, but on the way back, it was terrible. We'd have to stop and let these massive groups go by, and it was so slow. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, Dave and I are
quicker
hikers, and we like to
keep it moving. So
we found it weird really trying to channel our inner zen and just not be frustrated by the situation. But if you're like us, you're definitely going to want to go early. If you don't really care as much and you want to like hang out with the tour groups, you can do that too.
Yeah. And if you want to take it a step further and not just do a day hike, there are camping spots at Pico Ruivo that we saw, and there's also kind of like a hotel tea house that you can go into and get something to drink when you get there. So if we ever go back, we are totally doing it.
Multi-day.
You could stay there and watch the sunrise from Pico Ruivo as well, which would be just...
It's just kind of like a web of ridges too. So like from there you can just follow different ridges to different peaks. It's just be such a cool experience.
And also like another tip for just general hiking on Madeira is each hike has a number. So it goes PR1, PR2, PR3, and that's based on how high the peak is. So PR1 is going to be the highest peak. It's kind of odd at first, but it's actually very handy when you're using the app All Trails, which is the one we use and a perfect one for Madeira. It worked really well. You can just type in PR1 and then Pico Arieiro to Pico Ruivo comes up.
Alright, so that sums this video up. We hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to check out our Portugal travel guide where we go over everything from Madeira, Azores, mainland Portugal, everything you need to know about traveling Portugal. That is linked below.
Be sure to like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you next week.
Next week.